Hello, this is John Hart, and this video is for those who are having trouble getting PSPP going. So you're welcome to try Excel and have a little fun that way. If you're used to statistics, doing statistics in Excel, this will be a breeze. We'll go through what Unit 1 is asking for. First, it's asking for averages, and it's also asking for standard deviation, 95% confidence interval. So I just type these things in. Interval has lower and upper limit, standard error, and these two things are part of calculating standard error. These two will go to this website to calculate. So let's start out with average or mean. Click on the FX there, and if you don't see it in the list, you can type it in up here. I see it down here. Click OK. Left click on the first column, and where you have your mouse part, we'll click OK. So 64 is the average for this top column. We'll make sure you get the uppermost one, and to include all of them. Standard deviation, back to FX, and we'll use the .s for more recent Excel versions. Left click again, hold it down, click OK. 95% confidence interval. We'll type in confidence. If you don't see that, here it is. We'll use the T distribution. And our alpha is usually 0.05. And let's see if we can get it off. That number's locked. Standard deviation, we can just click that. Size, we have 9 of these. And we want a lower and upper limit. So we'll type in equals, and then click on average. Lower, we're going to subtract the standard deviation, hit enter. That's the lower limit. Upper equals, click on average plus the standard deviation. There's our 95% confidence limit. And our N or count, sometimes this is a handy thing to use. When there's just a few, we can just count them by hand. So left click, click OK. We'll do a standard error calculation. Got a note here. Equals standard deviation. We'll click on that. What else? Divided by the square root. So let's back up a little bit and do this. Go to FX. There's square root SQRT of that, of sample size or number of observations. We'll click OK. Now equals, to calculate standard error, we'll click on standard deviation divided by slash forward slash, I think it's called, square root of the n is that. And there's our standard error. Now let's head over to this website, Daniel Soper. The hypothesized mean in the hypothesis that the two are not equal, the pre and post samples are not equal, that's would be our null hypothesis, that there's no difference statistically speaking. So we'll type in 0 for that, and we're going to be using the differential column, so we can drag these over. What else is it asking for? Sample Mean is this, 3.1. We've got that typed in already. And next, sample size 9. Sample standard deviation. So we're using this column, 3.7. We plugged in there, and we hit calculate. And our t statistic is 2.5, and degrees of freedom 8. 2.5 and 8. So we can type this in here, over here, in that column. 2.5 and 8. And finally, p-value, the most important statistic in statistics, the probability value that the result happened by chance. Anything less than 0.05, we can say probably did not happen by chance and happened to, for example, the intervention. Maybe there was a treatment between pre and post. Treatment for resting heart rate to lower it. So p-value, click on the t-test, and array 1 is pre, and array 2, it shouldn't matter which is which. If you get these two arrays switched around, it shouldn't matter. Most of the time we use two tails, meaning the post-intervention heart rate could have gone up or down. So two tails. Unusual in research that one tail would be used. Type, we can read down here. This is before and after in the Unit 1 assignment. So patient 1 has a pair of numbers, patient 2 has a pair of numbers, so hence a paired test. So we'll type in 1 there, and we'll click OK, and there's our p-value. Let's compare to what the software is telling us. Here's software that I use in my research, and I also have PSPP that you'll be using. Here's all our numbers that Unit 1 is asking for. And with PSPP and this software I use, Stata as it's called, 2.5 for T, degrees of freedom 8, here's the p-value, confidence interval 0.28 to 5.9. And that's close here. Pretty close. So there's a little difference, slightly different equations, I guess, in the online calculator. And this is for difference also. Here's PSPP. With one click, get everything it's asking for. So this is basically your Unit 1 assignment. Just print screen, copy and paste it into a Word document, and submit that. And check the list of numbers it's asking for. It's asking for a number of samples, 9 in each sample, variable 1, number 2, your standard deviation for each, standard error for each, and we have that for the difference down here too. Here's the t-value, that's the same as we got, 0.28 to 5.95. That's what we got up here as well, and close to what the online calculator and Excel got. So that online calculator, we didn't use that for confidence interval. We just used Excel. So those of you having difficulty with PSPP, after watching this video, you'll probably want to try PSPP again, right? I would. But if you can't, this is an option. But the advantage of a stat program, after you get it loaded, your variables loaded, and your Excel to a CSV file to import it, one click and you have your assignment done, all the numbers. Thank you for your attention.